Okay, good. Hi, my name's Daryl Haddon. I'm from Graphically Speaking, and today we're going to walk through the most important website development strategies for 2026, specifically for mid-size organization. This presentation isn't about trends for trend's sake. It's about what actually works from a technical, financial, and strategic standpoint. In a world where websites must perform across multiple platforms, search engines, AI, mobile devices, and real business operations, website development is no longer just about launching pages. It's about building a system that supports growth, adapts to change, and thrives under its own complexity. Yeah, let me see. Sorry, this first one's going to be a little tricky. Should I line this up first? There we go. I have to apologize. I broke a bridge last night, and so I'm not drunk. I'm just might be slurring a bit as this bridge kind of impacts my speech a little bit. So make it a little bit and more entertaining. So uh, website development today is significantly more complex than it was even a few years ago. Modern websites now must be technically compliant across multiple dimensions at the same time. So we've got to juggle mobile, security, Google and their web vitals, SEO, new AI optimization, accessibility, and overall usability and structure. Lots to juggle. The challenge is that each of these areas adds constraints. And if you don't design for them upfront, you end up patching problems later, which is expensive and risky, or your site just doesn't perform. So, the first guiding principle, in my opinion, is this: most technical decisions should be tied directly to revenue impact. That includes conversion rates, lead quantity and quality, branding, and overall revenue growth. If a technical feature doesn't support growth, efficiency, or differentiation, is it really worth asking whether it should be built? Is it really worth building it at all? To me, complexity without business impact is not innovation, it's overhead. So, cost reduction is the second principle. Technical decisions should reduce either operational costs, development time, updates, maintenance, and troubleshooting. In the B2B world, where we do quite a few e-commerce websites, typically the senior management's emphasis is on cost cutting, not increasing revenue, because they understand that e-commerce and properly presenting your digital products online itself will reduce costs. And some have come back to say a manual order in a B2B environment is 10 times more expensive than a digital order. So cost reduction is in the web development side of it is a very important consideration, and drives a lot. It does and drives a lot of decisions in that regards. So if a feature increases ongoing effort without improving efficiency or growth, to me it becomes a technical debt, and pretty well almost immediately. Good development decisions compound savings over time. One of the most effective ways to control cost and risk is to use platform native features first. CMS platforms, plugins, themes, page builders already solve many problems extremely well. Custom development should be the last step, not the first. And I know in certain environments that is not true. And some of the enterprise builds that we're doing, that's not what the way they want to do it, and they do it for a variety of reasons, and it's cost justifiable. But for mid-sized sites, it's best to take the tools and use them and implement them. And another benefit of that is that they have already figured out the best practices. With hundreds of clients before and sometimes thousands of clients before. So it's that those questions and answers have already been completed, and so the person implementing gets to take advantage of all that expertise. So this approach reduces build time, maintenance cost, security risk, compliance issues, and reliance on specific developers. Legacy, however, it's very important to understand that legacy systems often make this difficult, but we should try. And the reason legacy systems make it difficult is because the organization wants to keep doing business the way they have been doing. And so they have to twist the system to be able to do it the way um, they've previously done it. So again, legacy systems offer or create a new challenge in this best practices. However, there's lots of good workarounds. Performance should be engineered from day one, not retrofitted after launch. That includes server-side rendering, lean JavaScript, optimized images and fonts, core web vitals, efficient CSS, caching, CDNs, and mobile-first performance. Performance directly affects SEO, AI visibility, usability, and conversion rates. And then fast and high performance sites don't just rank better, they convert better. Okay. And the it's interesting that I mean, to us, you need to bake this in right at the beginning. Okay. And because we all know adding it later is far more expensive than putting it into the beginning, unless you're doing, a big bulk upgrade process itself. Then you can get the scale so that it is cost efficient to do it that way. I don't want to take away from our the minimum viable product and doing and taking advantage of that, which we're not discussing today. Um, so next is modular component-based architecture allows teams to reuse and recombine elements instead of rebuilding from scratch. In simplistic terms, we call them slices or blocks. And that's what we're trying to do now when we're building a page. We're building a page with a combination of slices or blocks, depending on the CMS, the term different CMSs use. Okay, so we're not building a whole page, but we're building just a slice or a block at a time. So they typically are headers, with your top navigation, calls to action, footers, calls to action within the website itself, good old content blocks and different formats for presenting them, forms, feature modules such as that would be a reviews or testimonials or portfolio pieces. Um, and they should all be reusable components. And the idea is when you're building a page, you basically go to these blocks or slices and pull the ones that you need, and then to build trust and credibility, and then to add some new extra ones if required, or just update content within content blocks and photographs. This is a huge time saver and is best practices moving forward. Modern websites must empower non-developers or marketers, etc. So marketing teams need to update content, launch pages, adjust layouts, load product data, and optimize for SEO, AIO, and GEO with minimal developer involvement. CMS-friendly builds can attain that Also, real thing, real tool that has helped in managing the website moving forward is a website style guide so that everyone working on the website knows what the colors are, highlight colors, link colors, spacing, fonts, um, and theme of the website itself. So, highly recommend, even though it's not developers that typically develop a style guide, highly recommend it to help keep things consistent and timely. We've heard this for a while and just going to reinforce it. Mobile first development. It's no longer a secondary experience, although it's funny. It's the primary one, especially in B2C and D2C. Just had a meeting with a client, and they were informing us that less than 5% of their traffic is mobile, and they're a complete B2B environment. So yeah, but we need to do mobile first development because it's just beneficial. Um, Mobile first again development means touch friendly interactions, mobile navigation, faster load times, more simplified layouts, layered information, and optimized forms. We, believe it or not, we're now even designing for one-hand operation. So someone can easily get at a call to action, fill things out with just one hand. And if you've ever watched my daughter operate a cell phone, it's miraculous the speed with which she does it, all with one hand. Uh, Designing mobile first improves usability, SEO rankings, and conversion rates across all devices. So it helps even on desktop. Give me a sec. So templates should be engineered to convert, not just to look good. That means clear call to action zones, flexible content ordering, modular trust elements, optimized forms, and space for social proof and guarantees. When templates support conversion rate optimization, teams can iterate faster, test ideas, and improve performance without rebuilding pages. Okay. So if we build a template correctly up front, it just is so much more helpful. And building that template takes so many things into consideration now. Now, we could spend an hour to 2 hours on this section, and that's product data. So clean, scalable product data models must be designed upfront. They support SEO-friendly product pages, filtering, category pages, personalization, multi-channel publishing, and future integrations. Poor data models create debt, slow growth, and lead to expensive rework later. Basically, taking your product data and reorganizing it for digital is a complex, challenging, and evolving process itself that needs to be taken seriously with the right people on that understand the product data, actually working the product data for digital. And then someone on the other side understanding digital and how product data should be properly communicated in digital environment and make it transportable for a different digital platforms itself. So you're seeing more and more of that being an emphasis. Hard to do, but when done well, provides a huge return on investment. Simpler wins. Um, I mean, we know that with Apple, and that's been the whole cornerstone of Apple and its growth is just to keep things as absolutely simple as possible. And now we have a huge local Canadian success story, Shopify. And Shopify's whole theme was just to make buying super easy and setting up an e-commerce website super easy. And that is still their theme. We were having a conversation with them 2 days ago and talking about B2B e-commerce implementations. And they went we're not interested in the highly complex B2B integrations. That's not what our brand's trying to attain. We're interested in the ones that are simpler and want a simpler solution, and those are the ones that we're going to focus on in B2B. And I don't know if most of you are aware, but Shopify has said that B2B is their big next big growth area, and they're spending billions in R&D trying to deliver a solution that will be very simple for B2B environments or B2B companies to implement. So simplicity is important, and we encourage all our clients to try and keep it as simple as possible. So one proven CMS is what you should be using. Multiple CMSs and multiple platforms and multiple software to create CMS functionality is gone. And the idea that we try and implement different CMSs, so one for e-commerce and one for content and stuff like that, it's still prevalent, but we're recommending less and less of it. One front end approach necessary, fewer plugins if possible, and reliable tools. So reliable plugins, reliable tools. So many clients come to us and go, "This free plugin is just the greatest." Well, that's fine, but if it's free, how well is it supported? How well's how big is the organization? How well can it support it moving forward and upgrades, etc. And then following best practices integrations. And integration is a huge thing in the B2B environment, definitely a player in the B2C environment, but integrations are extremely challenging, and you need best practices for that. So over engineering increases cost and fragility. Um, so and this simplicity increases resilience and thus performance. So you're going to have a lot more reliable solution if you are keep it simple. Um, so SEO is, we have lots of conversations about SEO, and to us, it's structural. And believe it or not, now it's the foundation for AIO and GEO. And um, so many miss that it is structural. And I'm always amazed at the SEO agencies that don't do web or e-commerce development, because for good SEO, you need to bake this in right in the beginning. And so that means you need to deliver optimized URLs, semantic HTML, crawl-friendly templates, logical headings, internal linking, indexation controls, clean navigation, and schema-ready markup. When SEO foundations are built correctly, everything else performs better. And you're seeing a lot of crossover as far as what the SEO foundations are, and conversion and findability, internal search itself. Even for internal search, these things are highly effective for getting the right results on internal search. So development for AIO is basically being understood by AI. So AIO is about being understood and then found by AI systems. AI engines must recognize your brand, okay, understand your content, and trust your data. Now, it looks at things differently than humans do. So this requires semantic HTML, strong entity signals as far as who you are, what you do, what products you sell, services, server rendered content, schema, clean linking, very important internal linking these days for AI, and fast, stable performance. Development for GEO is being chosen by AI, summarized and incited by AI engines. So again, GEO focuses on being chosen, AIO focuses on being found, GEO focuses on being chosen, summarized, and cited by AI engines. So you're going to hear a lot more about snippets coming down the road. And we've been listening to, and looking and researching snippets for quite a period of time. But the mainstream, it's going to be very important. Content must be answer ready, structured, modular, and authoritative. Clear summaries, comparisons, expertise signals, structured layouts dramatically increase AI citation likelihood. Um, so one of the things to do with to see whether your page is going to be effective in geo and AIO is what the standard question, and I asked this yesterday. Okay, what are the top 10 things that a prospect, top 10 questions that a prospect would ask in regards to this service to make a decision to buy this service? And what are the answers? And it came up, when we did that exercise itself, came up with absolutely excellent content for the page because it answered those questions that a prospect would have, and thus the prospect's far more likely to convert into a customer. Hope that makes sense. Let's talk about accessibility and how it should be handled. And basically, it should be handled at the template level. So it should be coded in, not page by page. Okay. WCAG level 2 standards, again, should be baked into templates to ensure compliance. That way, when someone's creating a new page, they don't have to think about AA accessibility. It's already built in. So it bake them into the templates to ensure compliance, consistency, and usability across the entire website. Now, it actually improves SEO and AIO also. And actually, it's a point where it's a must for SEO and AIO. Accessible websites are more reliable and perform better for everyone. Now, they are the law in the States. So there's a variety of law firms based out of New York and LA. Now LA's gone on to it, that are running around and running tests through e-commerce websites and websites. And if you do not comply to level AA accessibility, they sue you. So basically, they're holding you for ransom. So first thing they do is send you a letter and say, oh, we're going to sue you. Then they follow up with another letter saying, well, if you give us this amount of money, and it's usually an exorbitant amount, we'll go away. And so save yourself that hassle, that aggravation, um, and make your site level A accessible. There is talk about a Montreal. I haven't heard it firsthand, but there is talk about a Montreal law firm that's doing it to Canadian companies now. But it's quite common now in the US. We have customers that have been approached and attacked in that manner. Oh, and with level AA accessibilities, sorry, there is tools out there that say they convert the website to be AA accessible without you doing any of the base work. And if you're going to hire one of those, I encourage you to make sure you thoroughly investigate them because some of them are being sued for non-compliance. Some of them actually guarantee that they won't, and they'll defend you in court. So a little bit of time and energy needs to be spent by each of you in regards to which is going to be the best solution for you. To us, build it in right from the scratch and uh, it is by far the best way itself. And always have a statement on your website about your AA compliance or your efforts to be AA compliant. With security, so important and becoming so much more important. So you must be proactive on your security itself. That includes regular updates, platform protection, secure authentication, encryption, PC compliant payment systems, least privilege access, and continuous monitoring. Scalable security protects revenue, trust, and brand reputation. If you want to destroy your SEO optimization, go down for 2 days. Um, if you want to get mad, you want your senior management to get mad at you, go down for 2 days. Um, Server setup and deployment. So clean server setup and deployment processes reduce risk. Now, this is housework or um, and it's so easy to neglect, but shouldn't be. And so that's why we say be proactive on it. For mid-sized sites, you got to have a staging environment where you're doing all your production work before you put it live. And we see that so often where it's not happening, and things blow up. So that's just best. That's just best practices. So one production environment, one staging environment, parity between the two. So the two closely match. That's hard to do, but you got to keep doing it. Secure configuration management. Do not let lay people in reconfiguring the site. And that includes adding new plugins, etc. Very dangerous, especially in the WordPress WooCommerce and second on WordPress. Um, Most of the higher end, like the Sitefinity sites that we do, no one attempts to do that. They just know better. Um, Rollback readiness. When you put your new enhancements live, you're going to have a problem. Well, between the staging environment, production environment, that's where that's the likelihood where you're going to have problems. So, and then when you do that rollout, make sure you thoroughly proof the production environment. And then ongoing monitoring leads to safer releases and less downtime. Now, one of the latest things that's really come into um, and be predominantly used is audits. And so here we're just going to talk about the audit method. So technical audits identify issues across performance, and we're regularly doing audits on performance, UX, security, SEO, accessibility, analytics, which are breaking all the time. Everyone thinks their analytics is going to work flawlessly, and it's not. It's one of the most error-prone areas that we have on websites. But it's not critical, doesn't usually take the site down. But sure, it's a challenge in regards to how you're trending. And AI optimization is the new one. So these audits, the purpose of these audits is to create a roadmap for improvement instead of guesswork. Nothing worse than having your senior management drive the development of your website based on their opinions and theories. This takes guesswork out of it. And then next is okay, why is this not moving? Next is the creative side of it. And heuristic evaluations are always so popular. Getting an expert that hasn't really spent a lot of time on your website to have a look, with a clear understanding what the goals are for the website is so insightful. And uh, audits for conversion rate optimization as great companies that do that if you're enterprise. Typically not cost effective in the mid-sized sites. Um, I mean the really expensive ones. It's really wise to do on all sites itself. Um, the content audits, brand trust audits, now Geo and AIO are the new audits coming up. And basically, they see how your content performs, not just how it looks. So build for change. Websites must evolve. The day of, you're building a website and then you leave it for 3 years or slight tweaks 3 years, is gone. That you get seriously penalized in your SEO if you do that, and penalized in just a variety of areas. So develop, development should prioritize easy updates, modular components, flexible templates, and adaptability to new businesses. SEO changes, and AI changes. Now, perfection slows progress. Iteration drives growth. So perfection is, and it, you know, perfectionists are great, have their place, but you can't slow down. You can't be slow in regards to these things. You need to move quickly. It is the main tool. It is by far the main driver of leads and revenue increases moving forward. And so you got to iterate and you got to move fast. And so you need to, the website needs to be developed for change itself. That needs to be one of the primary considerations. So, in conclusion, I've got just a couple of conclusion slides, and I'm doing pretty good time-wise. I'm at 12:32. So, website development in 2026 is about clarity, leverage, and restraint. Okay. Now, clarity is so important now for AIO and geo. The best websites separate design and development because they know they're different, use teams and the team's expertise, stay simple, and perform well. They are built to support SEO, AIO, GEO, WCAG, and CRO. Do you love all those acronyms? Which is built right in. These should be built right in for it. So it's and then can scale without rebuilds. Okay. And how success is measured? In conclusion, website success should not be measured by technical complexity. It is now measured by leads, sales, and cost reduction. Thank you. If you have any questions, you can email me at Daryl at Graphically Speaking, or you can call me at 604 682 5500, extension 113. And again, that's 604 604, sorry, 682 5500, extension 113. Thank you for taking the time to come see our webinar, and I hope it was educational. Have a good day.